Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin. Sayyidina Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today we're starting a new chapter about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What we shall learn in these lectures, the lectures to come, are those knowledge that Allah wants us to know. Nothing more than that. Again, I repeat. What we shall learn in this lecture and lectures hereafter are the knowledge that Allah wants us to know, and nothing more. Okay, that must bear in mind. So, in fact, even after knowing this, we shall conclude, or we will conclude, that we don't know Him in actual fact, because we can't see Him. He's invisible, unknown, okay, and He is not you cannot compare Him with anybody. He doesn't. He's not comparatively with others. We don't know how his appearance personally. We don't. So what we learn from this lecture and the lectures to come, what He wants us to know about Him and nothing more. And that must bear in mind. Okay, as we go along. So all Sufis at the end of the day will conclude that after knowing Him, then we realize we don't know Him. We don't know Him. This is a fact. Okay, that is why I normally saying that even the owl is lucky to see the features of, or the content of the moon, which they, in the Malay poetic world, which they love, Tonggok merindukan bulan. The owl has the opportunity to see the features or the content of the moon. But we who love Allah, we do not have that opportunity. It was said by Sayyidina Abu Bakr radhiyallahu anhu, his personal door is shut tight. You just got no glimpse what behind the door. Okay. So Allah is a name given to Himself by Himself. He said, I am Allah. There is no God beside me. So serve me and establish praise to remember. He named Himself Allah, not anyone giving the name Allah to Him. No, He gives Himself the name Allah. I am Allah. To worship me. Okay? So that is a starting point. We know our God, the Islamic God, is called Allah. Okay? Then, at the beginning, He's all alone. Nothing was with Him. No time, no space, nothing was with Him. He's alone. So, even nothingness also does not exist. He's alone. And not only alone, he's totally unknown. So nobody else exists. He, the only one exists. So of course he's totally unknown. There's none like unto him. How to compare? There's no two existent, only one. How to compare, right? If two existent, you can compare one person with another. Take for example, you compare me with another, and of course I'm the handsome one. Yeah, where you can compare. Well, Allah, you can't compare. There's no other existent except him. Totally unknown, and nothing look like him. The creation doesn't look like him. There's nothing like unto him, and you can't see him at all. How to describe him? Handsome or not handsome? But you can see me. Of course, you know I'm H1. You all very bad. I'm 73 years old now. You call me handsome one. When I was younger, you didn't. Yeah. God is invisible, can't see. And we can even visualize him, hidden from the mind of man. We can even visualize him. Okay. Totally unknown. And what Jesus say? I confess to our God alone that has not had beginning, nor shall ever have an end. No beginning, no end. So how to compare? Okay. And thou shalt, nor shall they compass aught of his knowledge except as he will. That means he's saying, you only know those knowledge that I want you to know about me, nothing more. Okay? So you can only get that knowledge which he willing to give you, nothing more. So that's it. We are restricted in knowing him. He is given certain leeways to know him, but nothing more. Okay? And not only he is unknown, he's absolute alone. Absolute. So definitely he's infinite. Esa, infinite. Nothing exists. Infinite. Like an ocean, nothing on the ocean. Infinite. On and on and on. There's no end. And all the knowledge and power are with him. But there's no other existence. There's only one God, him. And all the power, the knowledge with him. Okay. Now, so far we discuss, we don't talk about our existence. We have no existence. Allah was there at the beginning. Nothing was with him. We also not there. Okay. Unknown, absolute power, infinite, possesses knowledge and power, absolute. Okay. So why did he create creation people like us? Why he created creations? Among the creations are people like us. Why? And this Sheikh Abdul Qadir say, it is clear that the purpose of creating mankind is so that he be known. Sheikh Abdul Qadir. It is clear that the purpose of creating mankind so that he be known. Which I don't agree. With due respect to him, I don't agree. That he say God created us so that he will be known. I don't agree. Because the answer is given here by a person who gauge that is the decision, this is the reason God created. He gauge the reason why God created us. Right? He, a person, a human being, which I don't agree. Because the answer is in the Quran. Why did he created us? You see here. Because he wants amusement and play. He's alone. He wants amusement and play. The life of this world is but play and amusement. He wants to amuse himself. Not that he wants to be known. He wants to amuse himself. And here again, what is the life of this world but amusement and play? He wants to amuse himself. Now, this one, at this point, my dear friends, be very careful here. Because many of the Sharia people I met, they say God cannot jest. I mean, making amusement and play, joking, whatnot. They say God cannot joke. God cannot amuse and play. You're crazy, man. You are restricting Allah's power. If Allah cannot joke, cannot jest, cannot amuse, cannot play, he's not fit to be God. Something wrong with him. There's some traits or characters missing in him. He cannot joke. He joke, you laugh until you die. You are lucky human being joke. That's limited. Allah joke, you give one, the whole world will die laughing, Can't stop. But he did this. He said it here. Life in this world is amusement and play to him, not to us. You see, at this age, myself, my brother Pak Ibrahim, Arifin, Lo, you think it's a joke at this age? Amusement and play. It's tough, You know how many times I operated in the hospital at Pak Ibrahim too? Same day in the hospital. No joke. Life is no joke. And this age, somehow, you ask Lop, Arifin, Pak Ibrahim, when we see beautiful girl, our saliva drop, we can't chase anymore. You think it's a joke? No. The amusement and play is Allah's. Allah amusement and play. He wants to amuse himself. That is why he created creations, not to know himself. He's the only existent how to know himself. He wants to amuse himself by himself. He wants to amuse himself by himself. But there is no other existence. So he created the grand design, the Law Mahfuz. He created the Law Mahfuz. That means his grand design, his grand plan, his master plan, he created it. As you know, 12 billion years, 6 phases, one phase is 2 billion years, 6 phases, 12 billion years. And now we are at the early 3rd phase, which is 4.6 billion. He already created his grand plan, his grand design. He wanted to amuse himself, and he created the grand plan, and which is 6 phases according to scientific calculation, 12 billion years. And we are at 4.6 billion at the early stage of 3rd phase. His grand design, and he says there. So his amusement and play already written. The format, the conduct of the play, everything perfectly done, written down in this grand plan. And this grand plan, it says everything is listed by us in a perfect record. And what is this record? It's called Law Mahfuz. So his amusement and play, how this amusement and play will take off, everything written in Law Mahfuz, from A to Z. Nothing missing. Oh, that is so great of Allah. No detail missing in the grand design. Law Mahfuz. And again, he said, with him is the master record, the grand design, the grand plan, Law Mahfuz. Okay? On that day, we'll roll up the heaven like a scroll of writing. So this grand design, does it look like a scroll? It's mentioned here. When the Armageddon, second Armageddon, or first Armageddon, because you roll up the heavens, the seven heaven, you roll up like a scroll of writing. So is the grand design look like this? Scroll. Are we in a scroll? Okay, like you watch a movie, you enter the cinema, you watch the white screen, and you can see people dancing, people laughing, people walking, all kind of thing on the white screen, flat white screen. And as if it is real. So people watch the movie, sometimes cry, sometimes angry, sometimes laugh. It is as if the actors on the screen are connecting with them. But these are characters on the screen. So if the character on the screen in a movie can be as real as it can be, so we too, can it be we are in a scroll? We. Because God said, at the end of the day, I will roll you up like a scroll of writing. So the law mahfuz is but only a roll, a scroll, a roll scroll to open. So just a scroll. And you can see again, I saw large number of hell dwellers, Rasulullah said, when Mi'raj, ascension, Isra Mi'raj. He said, I saw large number of hell dwellers are women, and I saw large number of paradise dwellers are the poorest. Look, how could Rasulullah see dwellers of hell and paradise? There is no Armageddon yet, no Qiyamah. There's no judgment day. How he sees. During his time, there's the early, during 1,400 years ago, how could he see these inmates when there is no Armageddon? There's no judgment day. Okay. So how could Rasulullah see? But if our law mahfuz is a picturesque or is a picture, it is a picture or a scroll like that, or is a film, whatever. Then of course you can see the film of the future. And therefore in Islam, there's already time travel. Rasulullah traveled into the phase 6, 10 to 12 billion years. That's the last phase of Law Mahfuz, or the grand design of the scroll. And he saw the dweller of heaven and hell. But during his time, the third phase, which is 4.6 billion years, not 10 to 12 billion years, this thing has not happened. Armageddon, Qiyamah, not yet. Judgment, no day, not yet. But he saw dwellers of heaven and hell. So how is it possible? It is possible if our law mahfuz is just a film, a scroll, a picture. So he can see the picture before the picture come into being. That means he saw it in advance, right? This happened many times before, where a new film coming out, Sometimes they show it earlier for specific people, you know, to watch. Then after that, it will be open to the public. So Rasulullah was shown this picture of hell and heaven, which has yet to occur. He's not seeing the real thing. So what is it? It's a picture. Picture of people being tortured, picture of people who in paradise and all that. It's a picture or scroll or whatever. Okay? So is the Lauh Mahfuz is a scroll or a film or a picture? Okay? Keep that in mind. So, you see, he saw wanita neraka, woman in hell. But there is no Qiyamah, Armageddon. There's no judgment day. How can you see the woman? Unless it is a scroll, a film. He sees or he saw something ahead of time, the film. So, is the Lauh Mahfuz a scroll, picture, or film? Right? So the next thing is, according to quantum theory, what you see is just hologram, elaborate mirage, you know, mirage. Mirage is like a shadow. It's like sometimes in the desert, you see the mirage of water. You rush to it, no, it's not water. It's just some image, you know, nothing more. So there is no physical reality. Is it an elaborate mirage? Hologram. So what Rasulullah saw was a mirage, a hologram. Still a picturesque form. Still a picturesque form. Okay? If it's a hologram. And Allah again say, on the day of judgment, the whole world will be in his grip, and the heavens will be rolled up in his right hand. Heaven will be rolled up in his right hand. Roll. It's just like the scroll, roll, right? In his right hand. So you can see here, Stephen Hawking say, how do we not know? Maybe this is a computer-generated soap opera. Is it what we are seeing? This is just a computer generated, created by a computer, maybe a mirage, maybe a hologram, or what, but created by computer, like and creating it like a soap opera, that be amusement and play, soap opera. Okay. Then you see here, it's like that. You put a stop, right hand. You see, because you see the verse say, on the day of judgment, the whole world will be in the grips, and the heaven will be rolled up in his right hand. So you stop. It's a computer thing. So you stop it with your right hand. Stop. So, Professor Stephen Hawking was putting a view, can it be that Lauh Mahfuz is just a computer-generated image? Computer-generated image, which Allah can close this computer, switch off, just turning the knob to the right. So he says, be rolled in the right hand, knob to the right, stop. So we always stop to the right. Stop. So ponder, think, find a solution. But at this point of time, the question still stands to be answered. Is the Lauh Mahfuz a film, a scroll, a picture? Okay? Or is it a hologram? Is it a mirage? Is it something that is created by computer? Right? It's computerized image. Right? Ponder about it. Okay? Ponder about it. So the next question, how he achieved strict compliance. That means he has made the grand design, the plan, the grand plan. How he makes sure everything follows strictly to the grand plan. How he ensured or guaranteed that everything will move according to the grand plan. There is no diversion, there is no changes or no change. It was strictly conformed with the grand plan. How did Allah ensure this? Okay, and we see now. To him is due the primal origin of the heaven and the earth. They say he commanded himself, be, right? And it is, okay? So he, as you have learned many times, at the beginning he's all alone. So when he say be, is it to himself. Therefore, the due primal origin of the heaven and earth is within himself. So he decreed a matter, he said be to himself, and it is. And from himself, creation was created. Okay. So the first thing that come to light or come to emerge is its containment. Okay. So its containment comes first. No form, no shape, totally unknown, because it's part of him. Part of him. So we have no actual knowledge how it's part of him is contained. In reality, how it is, we don't know. But he said that the first thing that emerged from him when he wanted to create creation, it was that minuscule, subtle part of him appeared. Image, subtle part of him, image. We call it tajali, image. Okay? And therefore here, he is the subtle, infinitesimal and quintessential, very, very tiny, very, very tiny of himself. So the subtle. Verily Allah is subtle and aware. That means he's very, very, what you call this? Subtle. No? Very, very small, minuscule, infinitesimal or quintessential, very, very small part of it. Okay? That is a container that emerged. And Jesus say, this part of him, the minuscule part of him, is not bigger than a grain of sand or drop of water from the ocean. How small it is. And the Big Bang say that minuscule part of him, the subtle, the Maha-Alus, God particle, that is the Maha-Alus, lesser than subatom, very, very tiny, emerge. That part of him, the tiny, tiny part of him that we call the subtle, emerge, okay, there you see, the subtle, the container. Of course, we have to draw a circle because otherwise I can't show you where it is, okay, because we cannot really show you the container because you cannot design it, you cannot compare it, you know nothing about his subtle part because it's still part of him. But for the sake of teaching, I have to draw a circle. For the sake of teaching you all, I have to draw a circle. But that is not the container. But I had to draw a circle to show you that little subtle part of him emerge, tajali, emerge. Okay? So don't you have this idea that the container is circle. It's just put it that way to help aiding of my teaching to you. Okay? So emerge is container. Okay? No form, no shape, nothing. Okay? That is a subtle part of him. The container is the subtle part of him. So we take example, to make it a container, a square thing like a paper. One square, the container appear. Okay? It's a paper shape. This just example. Okay? Then what happened? There you see, there is nothing whatever like unto him. There is none like unto him. No vision can grasp it. So even the subtle part of him, you cannot visualize. But for the sake of teaching, I draw a circle. Okay? But you can't visualize him. You can't draw him, nothing. Okay? So here comes the point. We are talking about the tail, not the whole elephant. Bear in mind this. Henceforth, we are talking about the subtle part of him. Henceforth. I mean, as we are going along, you must remember we are talking about the tail of the elephant, not the elephant. Okay? But because the tail of the elephant is also part of the elephant, therefore we cannot visualize him. So because the minuscule part of him or the subtle part of him is still part of him. So you cannot visualize it. But for the sake of explaining, I use the example of an elephant. So henceforth we'll be talking about that subtle part of him, not the bigger part of it. Allahu Akbar. That subtle part. So bear in mind all along, henceforth, we are talking about the tail, not the whole elephant. Okay? Bear that in mind. And God say, let there be light. Okay? And that's it. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. His light is like a niche. Suddenly, that container lighted up, having a form, having a feature, lighted up. So it's no longer the subtle. Because the subtle is unknown. But now the subtle become glorified, become bright. Oh, no? So it has a form now. Okay, see here when it's the light there. So the subtle part of Allah, which is unknown, suddenly lighted up. When lighted up, it already has a form, so it's no longer the subtle part. The light manifested from the subtle, and that it become the essence. With the subtle part lighted up, it manifested, become an essence. Okay? So from the subtle part become the essence. And Rasulullah say, you the essence, obligatory existence, are the origin and end of all creation, the probable existence. So from the essence emerge another form, and that is the creations, the low mahfuz. So there are three stages, bear in mind. First one is the subtle, totally unknown. Then it lighted up, there is a form, and that is the essence. Once lighted up, there is a form, no longer becomes subtle, but become the essence. And from the essence, manifested all other creations or probable existence, and that is the low mahfuz. Okay? So, this is where Professor Abu Ahad Daud say, his outward appearance is his manifestation, and which becomes specific attribute to become animal, dog, man, woman, whatnot. So emerge from the essence. So there are three steps to bear in mind. The creation, the essence, and the subtle part of the three. So if you have this knowledge, you can always do away, annihilate the creation mentally. You can annihilate. You annihilate the essence, and all the time you see the container, the subtle part, which is the container, everywhere you turn. Okay? That is, with a certainty of knowledge, you have a certainty of vision. So you see, he says, he's the manifest, he's the hidden. How you have, let me explain again this concept. Look at this. There are three layers. Remember I say, the subtle, the essence, yellow, the creation. Okay? The subtle, the white color. The essence is the yellow color, and the creation is the green color. These are just examples. But do note, behind all this are the subtle. Okay? And the subtle is part of Allah. And with the subtle, the power, the knowledge, everything, essence doesn't have. Creation also do not have. So who actually having a ball is the subtle part? Because the subtle part is part of Allah. The subtle part has power, knowledge, infinity, everything. Essence doesn't have. And creation do not have. So how essence and the creations move? It moves because the subtle, which have the power, move it. Like you can see, not the elephant, not the tail that moves, but the elephant moves the tail. You have to understand this very clearly in your mind. So as we go on, you won't be lost. Again, behind the creation is the essence. Behind the essence is the subtle part. And that subtle part is the main source of power, source of everything, because it's part of Allah. The essence is just creation, the obligatory existence. Whereas that is the essence. The creation is just also an existence, the obligatory, the secondary existence. These creations are manifestation, essence also manifestation. How can manifestation have power? Something manifests do not have power. You see this on the desert, you see the mirage of water. You come closer, no water. This mirage, they have no power. Shadow have no power. But how can creation move? How can the essence move? Because behind it, the subtle, The power is behind that, moving these two essence and creation. You must understand this. Because we go deeper, you don't understand this, you'll be lost. You see people move, I show you. You see the people walk, okay, with 2 feet. That is the feet that move. Behind the feet are the essence. And behind the essence is the subtle part of God. So the one that actually moved these feet, these 2 feet, are not the essence, not the creation, not the essence. The one behind it, the power, the source of power, and everything else is with the subtle part of God. Okay? So creation no power, essence no power. That move is because of the power, source of power, the subtle part of Allah, that part yang maha halus. Okay? And therefore you can see this elephant say, who you think shake my tails? So the tail is like creation. Who you think shake my tail? So you see, we walk, we talk. Who did this? It's not ourselves. The one behind, we are just a puppet. We don't do anything, everything like a puppet here. You know, everything done by the puppet master. Like a wayang kulit, everything moves because there's a man behind the white screen. Whereas here, the one behind this screen of creation and essence is the subtle one, subtle part of God. As I say, the source of power is there. So this power behind that drum up what you see in actual life. Okay? That's why you must remember, it's like a, ice castle. You see ice castle, the form of the ice castle, you see water in hardened form. The form of the castle, the ice castle, are water in hardened form, hardened form. And inside that hardened form of water, there will be water trapped inside the hardened form. So outside you see the water hardened, but inside still they have the softer part of water trapped in the hardened form. And then you see it float on the water of the ocean. So if you understood this, you look at this image, you know from the tip of the castle unto the bottom of the castle, these are water. These are waters. The hardened form come from water, and the water trapped inside the hardened form. And all this water comes from the water of the ocean, that part of the water of the ocean. Not all part, that part of the water of the ocean. So you can see there are 3 steps. Okay? Water in the hardened form, water, soft water trapped in the hardened form, and water of the ocean. Okay? And water of the ocean is like only that part of the ocean, water of that part of the ocean is like the subtle. And the water trapped inside the hardened form is the essence. And the hardened form, that is the creation, the shape, the creation. So, look at this. Jesus answered, Philip, God is good, without which there is not good. Definitely is correct. What? Because he's alone. And what you see just now are three tiers: the creation, the essence, and the subtle part. And the movement, every movement of the creation, every movement of the essence are nothing more but the movement of the subtle part. That you must understand. So we're going in great depth, inshallah, from here and henceforth about Allah. This is already part one. So you must understand that. Without God, there's nothing on. So that's why Philip, God is good. Without God, there's nothing. Similarly, if there is no subtle part behind the essence and the creation, the essence and creation, no use. But there's no source of power. Not only that, no source of existence, because the essence and the creation, the source of existence is from the subtle part, the Maha'alu. So if without the Maha'alu, the subtle part of Allah, there will not exist the essence as well as the creation. That's why Jesus said, without him, there's totally zero hope. Okay? God is big, without which there is not. That is, God is life, without which there is not that lives. Similarly, we breathe, we walk, we talk, all this. You think it's our gesture? No. Who moved the elephant tail if not the elephant? Well, who moved the elephant tail if not the elephant? So we the same thing. Our movement, our thinking, everything about us, in fact, are the action of the subtle part of God. Because, as I say, creation and the essence have no power, zero. Jesus said also, okay? Without God, we are nothing. Okay? So, we move, we talk, we do everything because that subtle part of us, subtle part of God behind is manipulating us. It's like the wayang kulit. The man behind the screen is manipulating the puppet on the white screen. So great that he feels all and is everywhere, of course. Of course. We emerge, the essence emerge from the subtle part. So it cannot be bigger than the subtle part. And the low mahfuz creation emerge from the essence. It cannot be bigger than the essence. So the subtle part encompasses all these things. All this. Encompasses everything. So it's everywhere. He alone had no equal. Yes. Because there's no two gods. There's no two existence. There's no two Allah. How to compare? How to show anything equal to him? Yeah. He had no beginning, nor will he ever have an end. Yes. He's infinite. Esa, infinite. But to everything had he given a beginning, and to everything shall he give an end. Yes. Because the essence as well as the creations are but manifestation. So manifestation can disappear. So he put the beginning of the manifestation, and then he put an end to all this. So that's why everything perish. That remain is my container. Everything perish, everything that remains is my content. We see that in future. But that's it. Okay? The contained part of him has no end, has no beginning. But we have beginning and end. Part of him will never die. He had no father, no mother, he had no son, no brother, no companion. And because God had no body, he's not, don't have body like us. Therefore he eat not, sleep not, die not, walk not, move not, but abided eternally without human similitude. Okay. So outside the law mahfuz, there shall not be any movement. Okay? But inside the law mahfuz, there is movement inside. Because this is the amusement and play of the Almighty. So that amusement and play, that is the law mahfuz, the drama inside there. That will move. But outside, no movement. So God had no body. He eat not, sleep not, die not, walk not, move not, abided eternally without human similitude. So also the subtle part of it, okay? It caused the creation to move. It caused the essence to move. But itself, it doesn't move, especially outside the law mahfuz. Because the law mahfuz are manifestation, they will move. But outside that law mahfuz, there shall no movement. That's why when you read the An-Nur, it says that there is this like a fire inside a dome of glass. It's just like a flame, this you read Surah An-Nur, inside they explain, inside a dome of glass, there is this flickering of flames inside. So that is the law mahfuz covered by the 70 veil of light, 70 veil of light. So only in that, there is movement outside. Because that small thing, the law mahfuz, has been given by Allah. Allah used it as it's an amusement and play. It is the divine stage, the divine stage. So the divine play is in there. So there is movement. Outside, no. Okay. And therefore, we must believe in predestination. Everything has been fixed by Allah. You cannot change. But how does Allah make sure what He planned in the law mahfuz will be strict compliance? Strict compliance. How did He make sure this? Because behind the creation, behind the essence is His subtle part. And that actually all the movement of the creation and the essence are but the movement of the subtle part of God. And that is why the verse, O Muhammad, is not you who slew, killed. O Muhammad, is not you who threw the sand on them. It's all Allah. It's me. That subtle part that caused Rasulullah, which is the creations, and through the essence, the subtle part moved. So Rasulullah threw, but in fact, Rasulullah and the essence are just manifestation, a mirage, nothing. The one that affected the movement is the subtle part. But as you know, the subtle part is like the tail of the elephant. That subtle part moves because the elephant moves it. So even though we say behind it, the subtle part that manipulates the creation, but that subtle part is moved by the greater part. Okay? So the elephant moved the tail. Right? So in this case, the subtle part is moved by the greater part. Okay? So definitely in this case, if he's the one who caused the movement, who caused all the conduct of the creation, he's the one who caused it. Definitely he can control it. Okay? It's not the creation who kill, it's not the essence who kill, but the subtle part moved the essence and the creation to kill. And the subtle part is moved by the greater part. Greater part. Okay? And therefore, everything need to be done, definitely will be done. Because the greater part of him will move the subtle part of him to follow strict compliance of the law mahfuz. So you see our friend Hidir. Hidir killed a young boy. But Hidir say, I'm not doing this because I want to do it. I told Moses, you cannot understand this. True, what? And they say, I'm not doing it because I want to do it. No. He understood this. He was given divine instruction to kill the boy. And he knew that once this thing there, he just a manifestation, the creation. The essence is manifestation. The one that moved the creation to kill the boy is the subtle part of Allah. And that subtle part is moved by the greater part. I hope you all can understand this. You must note that the calamity which is written for you will happen, and those not written will not happen. If you think otherwise, then your place is hell. That means if you say you can change predestination, who you think you are, man? You are just manifestation, the creation. You are not even the essence. How can you say you can change predestination? The one that ensures predestination will continue in strict compliance with the law mahfuz is the subtle part of him. You are just a mirage. You are just a manifestation. You got nothing, no power, nothing. You're just like a puppet, a doll, nothing. Okay? So you think you can change predestination? Hey, you are dreaming, man. You got no power at all. Totally useless. You only move because the subtle part want you to move. You talk because the subtle part want you to talk. Nothing more. Understand this. Look, I'm going to greater depth of this knowledge. You have to slowly pick up, and I hope you can pick up very well. Even you have goal as high as Mount Uhud, Allah will never accept it until you believe in predestination. What is predestination? Mostly people think predestination, what have been written down in the law mahfuz, you must follow strictly. Actually, that is not correct. What is predestination? Predestination are the acts in the law mahfuz fulfilled by the subtle part, not by you. Fulfilled by the subtle part. We, the creation, is useless, no power, nothing, no existence. Essence, no power, nothing. So who moved the subtle part behind to ensure the predestination listed in the law Mahfuz is complied strictly? He ensure. Okay. And therefore, you can see my scheme is exceedingly firm. True, you can't change it. Unless the subtle part want to change it. And that can also be found in the law Mahfuz. If the subtle one does not want to change, you can't change. So you look as a whole ourselves. We are Malays. We are Malays, and our skin mostly brown. We cannot be as fair as a Western people. Why? Because that is what the subtle part wants us to be. Nothing more. If the subtle part wants us to be different, of course different. But of course you must also remember, whatever the subtle part decides is actually decided by the greater part. Okay. So that also you must bear in mind. Okay. Then no change will thou find in the practice of Allah. Definitely, because we don't exist. We are manifestation. We are mirage, a shadow. Okay. Just that. Who moves us? The subtle part. Who gives us words to talk? The subtle part. Who gives us the inspiration? The subtle part. Everything. We are just a picture, a hologram, a mirage. And that's why Imam Ghazali said, if you know your God, you know yourself, you don't exist. As clear as that. So if we don't exist, who moves us? The subtle part. Who killed, as he did kill the boy? The subtle part. Who opened up the water of the Red Sea for Moses? The subtle part. Who knocked the water with a stick? The subtle part. Moses doesn't exist. Moses is just a mirage, hologram, a drawing, you can say. Okay? We are going into deeper part of Sufism. And this is a starting point. Learn as much as you can before we go further and further. Okay? And therefore, what makes sure a chicken egg will not hatch a duckling or a duck? What guarantee that chicken egg will hatch a duckling, not a duck, not a chicken egg will hatch a chicken, not a duck? What made sure of this is the subtle part. The ducks, the chickens, the eggs are like Earth's creation. So the one that ensure that break up, come out chicken, the subtle part. And that's why you say, when you annihilate everything, nafi is but. When you annihilate everything, that remain is my container. The subtle part. Container is the subtle part. Everything. So that's why a Sufi, his eyes always went through the first part and the second part. That is the creation and the essence. And he only sees that subtle part of Allah everywhere he turns. So wherever you turn, there is my container. Okay, that subtle part of God, the container. So you see here, nothing have we omitted from the book. Oh my God. Allah is telling you, hey, look, everything have we pre-planned, predestined. I'm in charge, not you. You are just a camouflage, a manifestation. You don't exist. You just are a shadow, a mirage, nothing. You got no power, nothing. All the power is with my subtle part that you need to use. Okay? So the subtle part that moved all the creation. Okay? And therefore, the subtle part was be strict compliant with the book. There shall be no omission. and not an atom weight in the earth or the sky escape your Lord, nor what is less than that or greater than that, but already in the Lord Mahfuz. Even the Lord Mahfuz is creation. Behind is the essence, behind is the Lord Mahfuz, the subtle part of Allah. And that ensure that everything written there will be strict compliance. Allah, there is no God but He, that living, the self-subsisting, eternal, no slumber can seize Him, no sleep. True. Behind every one of us, or every creation, there is the subtle part, which never sleeps. All the time, managing us, all the time. The decision of all things is certainly with Allah. So the greater part tell the subtle part, and the subtle part will use the essence and the creation to fulfill what direction given by the greater part. Of Him, us, whoever is in the heaven and in and on the earth, He is on some matter. So every day, He's always on some matter, of course. You walk, the subtle part is making it possible for you to walk. You eat, so all the time people eat, talk, walk, sleep, work, all the conducts, all the omissions, everything that we creation did, in fact, done by the subtle part. And that's why every day He is on some matter, every day. And that subtle part doing these acts because the greater part want the subtle part to do it, and the subtle part will use the essence and the creation to do it. So every time that you see movement, whatnot, all this, that's why the subtle part is always on some matter, never miss. Until the day everything destroyed, except Him left alone again, then back to square one. And the creation say, we have a right to interfere in all this action of ours. We have a say for all the action of ours. And God say, all affair is from Allah. All come from the subtle part. The subtle part take the instruction from the greater part. And what has happened to these people that they seem to understand nothing? So it's different. People who have knowledge and people who do not have knowledge. Vision comprehend Him not. We can't see Him. But He comprehend vision. Yes, because behind the creation, behind the essence, is the subtle part. So He sees the essence because He's behind the essence, and He also sees the creation. So He's behind. He's subtle, very finite, very small, and encompasses the essence, encompasses the creation. Of course, He knows what these two are doing, and not only He knows, He's the one who orchestrated what the essence and the creation will do. Okay? And therefore, we can't see Him, but He can see us. Okay? He can see us. So, verily Allah is subtle and aware. Not only subtle, very, very small, but it encompasses all. Okay? So He knows what is going on with the essence and with the creation. Of course, He encompasses these two because He has to use these two to carry out the instruction given by the greater of Him, which instructions are listed in the Lawh Mahfuz. He has to follow. So He has to encompasses the essence, encompasses the creation. And truly He encompasses the essence and the creation because they manifested from Him. Okay? He fills and encompasses every space and particle. Okay, so you can see the three layers. First, the subtle part, and on top of it manifests the essence. On top of it manifests the creation. And he behind all it encompasses all in his subtle form. Okay? Tiny encompasses. So it manifested, the essence manifested from the subtle, manifested, that means the whole part of essence is actually part of the subtle, which has now got a form of essence, which is now in the form of essence. And that subtle part, which is in the form of essence, later manifested, become in the form of creation. Again, I repeat this. The essence manifested from the subtle part. The subtle part manifested as essence. That means every part of the essence is actually from the subtle, which take a form like you see the block of ice, actually all water, but take the form of a hardened form. Okay. So similarly, the subtle part take the form itself. The subtle part itself take the form of the essence. After it takes itself to form as an essence, it takes upon himself, which in the form of the essence, to form the creations. So in actual fact, all three is but the subtle in different form. Okay? The other two in different form, but still the essence. So therefore, he encompasses, the subtle part encompasses not only the essence, but again the creation. Because again, I repeat, the essence take the form, the essence itself take the form of the subtle take itself the form of essence. So he himself make himself into the form of an essence. See? So if you yourself, you use the disguise of a clown, but it's yourself that disguise as a clown. He also, the subtle part, make himself to form an essence, in the form of an essence. After it make itself the form of the essence, it then use this form to make another form, and that is the creation. But the creation, the essence, are nothing more but the subtle part of him. Okay? Therefore, he fills and encompasses every space and particle. So you cannot escape from Allah, because you are just manifestation. Is the subtle part manifested into essence, manifested into creation. They are manifestation of the subtle part. How to escape? Still within the subtle part. No is hidden from thy Lord so as much as the weight of an atom on the earth. So nothing hidden from him, because all come out from the subtle part. Nothing more. Not outside, but manifestation of the subtle part. Therefore, nothing escapes his knowledge. So this is the last point I want you to look. You see here, handkerchief. Handkerchief. And what this guy say? You see the handkerchief and the thread that make up the handkerchief. But did you see the cotton encompassing? See, you see the handkerchief. You see the thread that make up the handkerchief. But did you see all this is encompasses by the cotton? See, there's three. So when you see creations, you must see not only the creation, you must see the essence, and it encompasses by the subtle part. Similarly, like this handkerchief, but it's from threads, but the threads are but cotton, from the cotton. So you can see the cotton encompasses the thread and encompasses the handkerchief. So bear in mind, so I'll stop here, but inshallah, we shall continue deeper into this next week. I'll stop here. I'll get back to Albert. Albert, please.